The funniest story, actually, I have to brew my coffee. But while I'm getting everything ready, I wanted to give you a little bit of backstory on this segment and why it's going to become a regular thing. I'm not sure if it's going to be weekly, daily, monthly, or what have you just yet. I'm going to work on that probably tomorrow, since tomorrow's officially a day off. But this segment is, I've opened up or for sure a weekly or AMA or Ask Me Anything. And what I'm going to do is take a question a week and, well, or a question a day or something. I'll figure out later. And just answer one or two of those questions and try to give you a little bit more backstory on who I am. As a coach, as an individual, as a gamer, as a regular everyday Joe. So, you name it. That's why it's Ask Me Anything segment. And I'm going to call it Coffee with Kage. Just because it has a nice ring to it. So, the first question I wanted to cover, it's a pretty serious one in my opinion, but it's a very valid one. My friend asked, or how did I first stumble upon the coaching opportunity as a Beachbody coach? And he asked a couple more questions, but this one question I feel in particular is probably a little bit more important than the other two, at least for the first part. The other two can kind of be their own question and answer. So, basically, I first heard about the opportunity is in terms of Beachbody, but I didn't hear about it as Beachbody back in 2008 2009 when a friend of mine started doing the workouts as part of Special Populations PT when I was in the military. And for those of you who don't know, Special Populations PT means, for lack of a better way to put it, basically you're on the Fat Boy program. And that's what's mostly known for in the military, though it's not restricted to or overweight individuals, but that is mainly who landed on the program. You had your pregnant women, or injuries, and special needs in those cases, but most of the time that was the exception to the rule. That's just being honest with my experience in the military. I was even on this program for a very long time, and it was a different era in my life. But I was kind of teetering on being back in this program, and I was failing PT tests, and I was overweight myself. But my friend had been on it for a very long time, and, well, he mentioned they were doing it one day, and the program was called P90X. So that name kind of stuck with me after that because I remembered the P90X name, that I had heard that before. But while I was in the military, I had no interest in doing it. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to get out. I didn't want to do any extra workouts. I didn't want nutrition. None of that. And for those of you who don't know, the military is not known for nutrition or physical education on how you should do form and stuff like that. It's just not. But unfortunately, the friend who planted that seed, had he have still been with us, or when I got out of the army, and I for sure would have recruited him to be on my team if he wasn't my coach, because he introduced me to the world of Beachbody before I even knew it was Beachbody. And, or when I first did the program back in 2011, or I did it as a tribute to him, because he started the program, he wasn't able to finish it, and I kind of made it my personal mission to finish it what he started. I didn't know what really it was. I just knew it was a hard program and he wanted to complete it, and I was going to, in my own way, honor his memory by doing the same thing and completing this program. And about halfway through my third attempt, that is when my coach, Ashton, first contacted me through a message on Facebook, of all things, after I posted on the P90X page, saying, hey, I like the workouts, these are awesome, and things like that. And what a lot of people don't know is I had started the P90X workouts after downloading a pirated copy. Bad thing on my part, I know, but it's true. And fast forward that, a couple of weeks of going back and forth with her, she invited me to a challenge group, which I admit, at first, I didn't know what to expect. I was just excited to be connecting with other people who were enthusiastic about the workouts. And apparently, she identified me as someone who would be an excellent coach. She really saw something in me then that I didn't. So I just knew that I was having fun and I was going to share it, and I knew that group was all about it, and it was awesome. And she actually asked me one day, "It's like, hey, have you thought about doing what I do?" And I was kind of scratching my head, like, okay, what do you do? And she's like, I do exactly what you do, I just get paid for it. And I'm like, so you post in Facebook groups all day and you work out? Is that it? And I wasn't convinced at first. And my reasoning was I was not in my best shape. I didn't feel I was where I needed to be. And I said no for a long time. I'll admit it. And in retrospect, I should never have said no in the first place. That's how much I believe in it now. But I wasn't ready then. So I completed another program and I said, okay, I'm ready, let's go. I mean, I was at 160 something pounds at my best shape in that point in my life. And I was legitimately a product of the product. It literally had changed so much for me, I didn't even realize it. One second. I gotta get my coffee going here. It wouldn't be very much coffee section without coffee on, would it? Okay, now that that's started. So I signed up, and right after I signed up, I'd say within a couple of months, there were some changes at my employment at the time. They're my day job. And a little bit after that, there was a really big shakeup, and I almost got fired over being a coach because of some stuff I didn't know was wrong to do until after these changes happened. So that really scared the crap out of me. And it wasn't until much, much later did I realize how big of a mistake that was to actually quit being a coach. And here comes October 2014. I'm in agony over some wisdom teeth issues. I get that whole surgery done. I am on a liquid diet pretty much for 2 weeks. And I lose a whole bunch of weight. And suddenly I look in the mirror and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. That I really need to change who I am. I've got to do something different because I didn't recognize myself. I was miserable. And let me tell you, the definition of miserable for me was I was working call center, which I don't like. I was the toxic guy at the office because I had nothing good to say about the place. I didn't even have anything good to say about myself. I was bringing video game consoles into work and playing them right there in the office when I could. I was drinking 4 Monsters a day. I was eating junk food constantly. Like, forget a balanced nutrition. I was just done. I mean, I was in better shape in the Army at this point. I was eating better in the Army. And mind you, in the Army, I was eating Burger King 3 meals a day. That should tell you something about how bad off I was. And it had nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't do any better. Because I'd already proven that stuff with P90X. And it just, all of a sudden, it just hit me. I've got to do better. That's why I messaged my coach, and I told her, like, look, I am coming back. I told Ashton, and I could swear up and down, Ashton did not believe me. Like, period. Though, like the awesome coach that she is, she still welcomed me back, and she was super supportive the day I signed back up. I couldn't sign back up again until January of 2015. And I hit the ground running with P90X3. And I have been going ever since, because the day I picked up P90X3, well, I literally told myself, look, you don't know what you need, you don't know what you're going for, but you know something's got to change. Let's get through day 1 of this workout and see what happens. And then it was to get through day 2. And the next thing I know, 90 days later, I have finished P90X3, I've dropped 30 pounds, and I'm feeling great again. And during the middle of doing this, I got another job that is my current day job, and it was a much, much bigger improvement over what I had. And I suddenly realized that I was attracting better things in my life by feeling better. By doing something great for me, I was allowing a whole bunch of other good stuff in my life. By getting engaged back in personal development, I was changing my mindset for the better slowly but surely. But the only thing this whole time I didn't know I was dealing with, but I was anxiety. And that is its own separate topic, but if it wasn't for the coaching opportunity and becoming a hardcore fan of Beachbody, I probably wouldn't even know I had this problem. I wouldn't have known that I needed to get help with it. And I wouldn't be here today having fixed that problem. I mean, not 100% fixed, but it's manageable now. And I'm getting better still because of Beachbody. And if it wasn't for Beachbody, I never would have discovered personal development. So that never would have improved. And if it wasn't for my dear friend, Robert Foster, I would not be here even talking about P90X in the first place. So he is the reason that I'm here with Beachbody. And he's the reason I want to make this a success. Both in his memory and to help all the people that he couldn't.